Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Vogel President and CEO, Karen Hughes.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Hope really does begin with Vogel. And tonight I have a very special opportunity to share a mother's story with you. It's a story of family, of tragedy, of grief and loss, of human trafficking, of homelessness, but most importantly, it's a story that ends with hope at Vogel. In 2011, Clara had a great family. She was living in Mexico. She had her teaching degree. She was teaching school. She had 2 children and a loving husband. Everything was going great until tragedy struck. Her 3-year-old child was killed in a freak school bus accident. And a little later, her 11-year-old child died of leukemia. As a mom, I absolutely cannot even fathom what she was going through and the grief and devastation to lose a child, much less 2 children, in a very short amount of time. Because of that grief and devastation, her marriage fell apart. She reached out for companionship and ended up pregnant with another child. So now she found herself as a single mom, still grieving and still devastated that her whole family had fallen apart. And because of that grief and devastation, she was extremely vulnerable to be manipulated. And that's when she met the rich Texan. She met him online. He was charming. He was wealthy. He said all the right things. He promised to buy her anything she wanted. He told her and expressed his love for her and the girls. He came to Mexico, met her family, proposed to her, and she agreed to marry him and move back to his very affluent home in Grand Prairie, Texas. She truly thought she had met her Prince Charming, but little should she know of what the road ahead was going to be. Tonight, Clara is here tonight to tell us the rest of the story. Please welcome to the stage, Clara Ramirez. So Clara, thank you so much for being here this evening and the courage it took for you to come here tonight and tell your story for all of these people, not only about your life, but also what Vogel means to you. So you really did think that you had met Prince Charming and your life was going to turn around, but that's not the way it went. So can you tell us the rest of the story?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Well, at first, he was pretty attentive. He showered my baby girl and I with lavish gifts, and he expressed how much in love he was. We could practically ask for anything we wanted, and he would buy it and bring it home, as long as we didn't leave the home or meet anyone. This was a progressive, constant behavior until the point that we lost contact with the outside world. No phone, no car, no contact with my family. Eventually, the controlling behavior became violent. We experienced violence episodes, bad ones. It was like a cycle, because after the violence, it was months and months of forgiveness, and I do it for you, I want to protect you, it's because you're so important to me, and gifts. By the 3rd year, he moved us to an isolated house in Waxahachie, Ellis County. There were no neighbors in 2 miles, no neighbors. He controlled absolutely everything. I was terrified. He even installed some cameras in the driveway to check if somebody could go nearby, and I ended up pregnant. He took me for a C-section, emergency C-section. He was there by my side all the time. When I got discharged from the hospital, he took me back home to recover by my own. My family had no idea where I was or that I even was pregnant. He managed to email them on my behalf, stating that I didn't want to be in touch with them because of religious reasons.
So then by this time, your little girl that you had, that you brought with you, she was pre-K age. But she had also been isolated. He would not let her go out of the house, and so she had not talked to anyone, but you knew how important socialization was for her, and so you begged him to let her go to pre-K. Finally, he agreed, but only if you had no contact with the school, and he would drop off and pick up the child. But at that time, something very interesting happened.
My goodness, yes.
And it had to do with a very smart teacher, a lunch kit, and sticky notes. So tell us what happened.
It was amazing. It happened that my daughter got to go to school and talk with anxiety about mommy, mommy. But the teacher thought that this was kind of odd because how come we don't have any mommy on record? We have never seen her. So she managed to put a sticky note into the lunch kit and send it. I received the note, I replied, we started communication back and forth. My husband had no idea that this was happening. She suggested, obviously, just call 911, call a hotline, or a crisis, right? But I didn't have any phone. So she said, she had an idea. She was like, why don't you tell him that you will feel comfortable if you schedule virtual consultations with the pediatrician? He accepted. I got access to the phone. I could call the clinic. The clinic will kind of conference me with some help. CPS got involved. And they told me, you know what, call police. Police show up, they took me and my girls, one backpack, important documents, a baby bottle, and a teddy bear. That's it. They took me to a shelter. He was arrested. He was put in probation later on. In the shelter, I had the privilege to have legal representation for free. I got a protective order, I got divorced, I applied for my citizenship that eventually I got later on. And I got full custody of my daughter. Thank you so much.
So then how did you find Vogel?
Well, the shelter program ended. Only 3 months, that's it. I was free, I was divorced, but I had no card, no money, not even a stroller. Not even a stroller. I was very fortunate to have this program that they allowed me to stay in a one-bedroom apartment for a year for free, but still I needed to become self-sufficient. They told me, just go to Vogel. And I was like, Vogel? What's that? Just go to Vogel, that's it.
And so you did. And what did you think when you came to Vogel, and what programs and services did we offer you when you got there?
I wanted to see by my own. I was like, okay, I was there physically. I wanted to see what Vogel was. First of all, nice facility, beautiful building, the great program. And I was like, I cannot pay for this, right? They assigned me a caseworker, Mrs. Wright. She took me to her office. She said, you know what, Mom? Everything is for free. Diapers, wipes, 3 meals, full-time education, quality education for your daughters. And on top of that, it was very secure. I knew that they will be okay because to get in and out, there is a guard. And I was like, okay, they're gonna be safe.
So after that, she helped you get a job. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yes, it was a long process. First, she said, you know what, first things first, you need to start moving around, you need transportation. So she printed out some routes to use the DART, and she gave me passes and a stroller. Beautiful stroller, many stories with that. She gave me access to nutritious meals. It was a box that I could pick up every month to take home. And I remember that for many nights, my dinner was the bye-bye bags that we could pick up at the end on my way out of the building. It was amazing. She she said, you know what, you need to get money right away. I mean, you have the free apartment, but you need to get money right away. So she connected to Automark, and I ended up washing dishes in SMU cafeteria as a part-time. And in my spare time, I was working on to build a strong resume, getting interview skills, and all this time, I was searching listings on internet and how to afford a car on the Vogel resource room. And while I was there researching, doing my part, well, I knew that the girls were being cared and loved by the Vogel's teachers. I got a car, and I started interviewing for bigger jobs. I was hired in a Montessori school in Irving, and even Vogel provide this kind of beautiful outfit to go, with something decent to an interview, and I got the job. It was time for me to let Vogel, and they say, it's okay, you need to go, but before you leave, visit the holiday store. Oh my gosh, I didn't want to get emotional here. I thought, they're gonna give me a ball for the girls and a doll, right? I ended up filling up 2 bags, the huge bags. Hygiene care, toys, clothes. We use those items for the coming years.
So time has passed. The girls are now 11 and 14. You're doing great, they're doing great. So tell us what you're doing now.
I'm a teacher at Vogel. I'm a teacher at Vogel, very proud to be here, yes.
So we are thrilled to have you back home at Vogel as one of our toddler teachers. It really is a full circle story. But the other day you and I were talking, Clara, and you said, I can see it on their faces when they walk in every morning. So what is it, because you've walked in their shoes, the moms that are dropping off their kids now. So what is it that you see, and what is it that you tell them every day?
In my position as a teacher, I just get to just hug them. I'm like, you know what? You're gonna be okay. Your kids are protected, they're loved, we got you. Because I know all the resources in Vogel, they're gonna help them to thrive. And I just hug them.
So as we close this interview, what would you like all the people here to really know about family homelessness that they may not know? And what do they need to know about why they should support Vogel?
That's a hard one, because homelessness is a very complicated concept. It is, especially family homelessness, is not usually what people think, like, oh, mommies and daddies are too lazy to go get a job. Like, excuse me? It's not that easy. It is a process, it takes time, it requires resources. But it is amazing that there's loving people still in the world that care, willing to be compassionate and share and be generous. And, without the stigma of the laziness. Every family has their own story. And I'm so honored to be here and get to tell you that we really appreciate all the contributions. Everything is well appreciated, and it goes for a really good cause. So the mommies can go to the cycle of homelessness, and they can thrive. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
So Clara, thank you again for being here and for being willing to share your story.